Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
So, nalipay ko may isunan kabalik diri sa maong panimalay no, nakiguban sa inyong usap alang sa tuang pagtuon sa pulong sa Ginoo. By the way, this evening I will be talking about slide the three angels message to remind us, my dear brethren, unsa nga to ang buhat or buluhaton ini nga kalibutan samtang kita nga lagad sa Ginoo. Okay, anyway, ako na siyang giwali maigsuon dito sa Kalituan Church, and I would like to share it with you tonight aron nga inyo usab nga adunggan makisuunan unsa ka importante, no? What is the importance of this message, why we would always remind each of us this message. Okay? So we'll be studying from the book of Revelation chapter 21 verse 8, which says, apan alang sa mga talawan ug sa mga dili matinuohon ug sa mga malaway, alang sa mga mamumuno ug sa mga makhilawason ug sa mga lumayan ug sa mga magsimbag mga Dios-Dios ug sa tanang mga bakakon, ang ilang mga bahin mao ang paghiadto sa linaw nga nagisalaog sa kalayo ug asupre nga mao ang kaduhang kamatayon. So dinhi igsuon nato karon nga pagtuon ato ang ipunting ato ang hunahuna nga ngano man nga gihimo ni sa Ginoo gibilin sa Biblia, alang ba ni sa ato aron mahadlok ta ang mosunod sa Ginoo, or para asa ni makigsuonan nga diin gibilin sa Ginoo nya kun ato lang taon sa lain nga side mga igsuon mura tag mahadlok ba, no? So ato lang taon mga igsuon nga unsa may bilin niini, unsa magid importante nga ato karong masabtan nga nganong gisulat man ni sa Ginoo ug unsa gid gusto ni pasandok nganhi kanatong tanan, especially sa iyang mga katawhan. So tonight, sa di patang para nigsuon, I would like to invite each one of us to bow our head for a special prayer. Let us pray. Amahan nga balaan niining kagabion Ginoo, samtang kami magatuon niining pinasahi nga mensahe o Dios. Hinaot amahan nga ikaw makiguban kanamo o maghatag kanamo sa langitong kaalam aron kami makahangop, makasabot niini ug amo kini o Dios kayod makinabuhian. Ug salamat Ginoo nga ikaw magtubag sa among pagampo kay kini among gipangayo sa ngalan ni Jesus. Amen. So, to those who do not know yet, Seventh-day Adventist is known as the one who bring the three angels message. I don't know if you already heard this, sir. No, the three angels message in the book of Revelation. So, very known kayo ang Seventh-day Adventist. But again, for those who do not know yet, I would like to share it with you. No? O kadto nakahibalo na ato na usab pagtun-an pag-usab kining napulo tulo ka mga mensahe sa pinariyag. Now una, the first angel's message is this. According to Revelation 14:6-7, proclaim the everlasting gospel, salvation through Christ's righteousness and grace, His justifying and sanctifying power. So una nga mensahe makigsuunan sa manulunda mao gyud ang pag-share, no? The first angel's message is to share the gospel to all people. It means to the whole world, no? So this is our first kining priority when we become Christians, to share the everlasting gospels. Then the angel announces that the time of judgment has come and calls people back to the true worship of God, recognizing Him as the Creator. So the purpose is aron nga ang mga tao mubalik og simba ngadto sa tinuod nga Dios, no, to bring back the people of God to a true worship. Because when human being have fallen, no, we know that sa diha nga nahulog ang tao na ilalom ta sa gitawag nato nga kadina, the chain of Satan, then Satan made also a contradict of God's worship, and he made his own worship. Because the first case nga igsoon in heaven was Satan himself wanted to be God. So he wanted also to be worshipped by angels. So what we can see here is the everlasting gospel should be preached to the whole world, so that the people will understand why this message in Revelation is calling about the true worship, no, of the true Creator. Because here in our practical world, we have a lot of, we say, or should I say, a lot of goddess, no, that we know. Maybe sometimes they have God of the water, God of the trees, God of the air, no? A lot of gods. But here we should proclaim the everlasting gospel, so that the people will go back through a true worship that recognize the true Creator of our world. Now, the second angel's message is this. The second angel's message found in Revelation 14 verse 8, announcing the fall of Babylon, was first presented in summer 1844, because in the prophecy, this announcement follows the preaching of the judgment. So, we will understand what is the Babylon. Now, we know that the Babylon is a church who taught the unbiblical doctrine. It means no biblical basis doctrine who they're teaching there in their church. So, because in the prophecy, this announcement follows the preaching of the judgment, and because the churches to which this message applies were once pure. Babylon here refers to the churches that have rejected the warning of the judgment also. So kanang mga tao nga di na sila mutuo og naagi pag kanang gitawag nato nga paghukom ang Ginoo, no, those people who do not accept that there will be a judgment coming from God. So this is the second message. Although the fall of Babylon began at the summer 1844, it is gradual process will not be complete until the churches rejected the three angels' message of Revelation 14 and accept the strong delusion and lying wonders presented by the Satan. These apostate churches unite fully with the world, accepting and believing that the world accepts and believes. Now, what else? The message, Babylon is fallen, is repeated in Revelation chapter 18 verse 1 to 4. God's people who are still in Babylon are called out so that they will not be guilty of participating in her sins and will not receive the plagues to be poured out upon her. So it is a warning, my dear brethren, not in order for us to be feared before God, but in order for us not to be included to the people who will be having these plagues. Therefore, Babylon is constituted by churches that teach many of the theological errors passed down through the church of the Middle Ages. So there are a lot of doctrines which is not a biblical base, and then passing through the Middle Ages until now in our time. Although the fall of Babylon began at the summer 1844, no, again. Then, for God's people still in Babylon to understand the urgency of getting out. That's why in the Bible there is a word there, get out of here, my people. Why? Because before there is only a kanang naipundok gyud sa Ginoo, which is nagtudlo sila sa kanang doktrina nga iya lang gyud sa Ginoo. Apan tungod sa mga paghaylo, tungod sa mga paglingla sa yawa, no, the teaching of Satan get inside the church, and then the church teaches to all the people, unya ang mga katawhan sa Ginoo, they will get confused, no? So now, the first angel's message is to preach the gospel, no, to bring back, to worship, to the true creator, which is God, and now the fall of Babylon shouting for us to get out. So, if there is a church nga nagtudlo, no, that teaches the unbiblical doctrine, so it means you will get out of that church. So they must understand the sins and errors of Babylon. These places are a tremendous responsibility upon God's people to carry out His mission of proclaiming these messages. So this is the second message. Now, the third angel's message is this, found in Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 to 11. Contains a clear warning. So it means it is a warning. It is not the purpose of God that His people will feel feared to Him, but in order not to be included in the judgment. It is a warning. That this is the essence of warning. So don't worship the beast or its image or receive its mark. Now, we will go at the mark. Now, we know already the mark is not a literal mark, but it is kanang spiritual, no? Ang marka diha, mauna siya ang ato nga pag-worship actually. Why the mark is in the forehead? No? Ato i-recall because sa forehead naadri ang ato ang judgment. Naadri atong frontal lobe. So diri nagikan maigsuon ang ato ang gitawag nato nga consciousness o kanang choices. So when you choose to worship the true God, so you should worship the day that God had made. Sa to tulo ka butang gihimo niya sa kanang pag-create sa kalibutan. When He worshiped the seventh day, God rested, God make it holy. So pag yun, nagpahulay, nagpanalangin kay blessed and make it holy. So there are three things, no, gihimo sa Ginoo. And the mark of the beast is the other day worship by other people, or the people belongs to the beast. So duha ra gyud ni mga igsunan ang adlaw giawayan igsuon in the context of Christianity. So mo na siya ang diferensya. This message is based on the prophecy of Revelation chapter 13. The beast represent apostate church. The image of the beast is created by the second animal, representing the United States. Note Ellen White's explanation: in order for the United States to form an image of the beast, the religious power must so control the civil government that authority of the state will also be employed by the church to accomplish her own ends. For more than 200 years, the United States has stood as a beacon of religious freedom. According to the Bible prophecy, however, the time is coming when religious freedom will be violated, and a movement will so control the government that laws will pass fulfilling the wishes of the apostate churches. The end result of the forming this image is intolerance towards anyone who disagrees what this church or state relationship demands. So the mark of the beast, observance of a false day worship, is an institution that clearly sets forth the authority of the beast. One church boldly boasts that it has changed the 7-day Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. So asa man igsuon, in the context of Christianity, there are only 2 days, no? 2 days nga giawayan. Either you will worship the 7th day or you will worship the first day. You will worship the Sabbath or you will worship the Sunday. So, maora gid na makisunan. Only 2 days worship ang ato karon nga pagapilian. So, it is your choice now. Now, point number 1. Because ang ato igsuon is Revelation chapter 21. I would like to read in English version. In King James Version, it says here, but the fearful. Okay? So, it means, ang katawan sa Diyos, pulos di ay mga isog. Hello? It means, the people of God is, purot yun, isog. They are not coward. No? So, mauni ang katawan sa Ginoo nga gi-emphasize mga isunan. Nganuman, ingon diri nga dili sila talawan. mo ning katawan sa Ginoo. Why? Tungod kay ato nabaluan mga kaigsunan, we know when the time comes, the freedom of religion, my dear brethren, will be no more. So it means there will be forcing of worship. So if you are a true Christian, true believing Christian, if you are the people of God, then you are not belongs to the coward. Because you are feared of the guns or what else, then you will worship, okay, sige na lang, worship na lang ko, mahadlok mo ko. No. Ingon sa Ginoo, wala gyud talawan nga iya sa Ginoo nga katawan. Isog, mubarog, we will stand, my dear brethren. What is the principle also in the Bible? What is the doctrine of the Bible? We shall stand. Nganuman, nowadays, the world is introducing a lot of things or something nga ato igsuon nga malapas ang unsa man nga gipabarog sa Ginoo nga doktrina or prinsipyo. No, especially mga igsuon, isahay gamitan ta og gitawag nato nga kana bang ibaylo ang imuha nga pagpangalagad sa imuha nga trabaho pagkaana, pag-eskwela pagkaana. So una nga butang maigsunan, kita nga makatawhan sa Ginoo. Mubarog ta igsuon tungod kay ingon ang Ginoo wala gyud talawan nga iyang katawan. Isog ang iyang makatawhan. Amen? Dili isog maigsuon nga mugawas sa balay na manghasig ka, mangita kag away, di kinamao. No? Ang isog mga igsuon, mga katawhan sa Ginoo nga bisan pag sulayon, even though they will undergo circumstances, they will still stand in their faith through God. Bisan pa moabot igsuon si COVID-19, mubarog sila mga igsunan kay wa sila kahadlok sa pagpangalagad sa Ginoo. Wa sila mahadlok igsuon nga mahutdan sila bugas. They were not afraid. Bisan unsa pa ang muagi sa ilang kinabuhi because ingon ang Ginoo walay talawan mga kaigsunan. There will be no coward of the people of God. So we shall stand, my dear brethren. Now, in order to stand, we should always cling to our God and rely to the power of God, of our God. So mao ni, tama ba nga mobalos ka sa imong kaaway aron nga mailhan kang isog? Unya moingon din ka nga maayo ra pod aron makatilaw? Maayo ra pod aron nga mahadlok? Maayo ra pod aron nga matagam? Maayo ra pod aron nga makaila sila isog yugo? Mao ba ni mga igsunan? Now ato lang taon maigsuon. Ang pulong coward or fearful gikan sa Griego pinulungan dilos nga nagpasabot maigsuon nga fearful. Pero if you try to look, my dear brethren, sa iyang kanang strong definition, actually the word fearful is implication maigsunan faithless. The Bible says there is no coward or fearful people of God. So therefore, ang ipasabot sa Ginoo wala gyoy katawan sa Ginoo nga way pagtuo. There will be no people of God that no have faith or faithless. So mo nigsuon nga sa atong mga kinabuhi, bisan unsa pa mahitabo sa tuas kalibutan, ingon ang Ginoo nga kini sila naagi ni pagtuo, isog na sila. Therefore, the word there mga isunan nga sa baylo ni anang fearful or coward or kanang talawan, mao ang naay pagtuo. Tungod kay ang talawan mga isunan gipasabot sa Biblia, wala may pagtuo. Faithless. So atong ipakita mga isunan, isog ta mga ison, dili isog sa papanghasay kun dili isog sa ato mga pagtuo sa pagbarog kung unsan ato nga nadawat nga kaalam diha sa Ginoo. Now, naay mga ehemplo mga isunan. So one of the example, Matthew chapter 8:26, and he said unto them, why are ye fearful? The same word, mga ison. O ye of little faith. Now, if you try to look the same word in the Greek word, still the same dilos ang iyang word. Fearful, o ye little faith. And also in Mark 4:40, the same word, dilos, still fearful, but bugat ra kayo ni. Why? Because God says, you have no faith. So ang isog gidi ay mga kaigsuunan nga matod pa sa Ginoo is kadto mga tao nga hilabihan kadako og pagtuo sa Ginoo ning barog sila mga kaigsuunan bisan pa sa ilahang mga sirkumstansya nga dili sila makasabot. Though sometimes we will not understand the circumstances nga abot sa tong kinabuhi, no? When it comes into life, in our life, but because of faith, we will remain standing. O ang iyaha nga equivalent mga igsuunan sa Hebrew pinulungan is karid, no? Same gihapon mga igsuon. So, ang katawhan di ay sa Dios pulos di ay mga isog sa pagtuo. Amen? Isog ta mga igsuunan. Now, point number 2. Ang Dios wala lang magkinahanglan sa atong pagtuo. Siya usab naglantaw kung unsa kita kaluyal sa atong Ginoo. Now, our God is not only looking on your faith, but He is also looking on your loyalty. Yes, we have faith. Oh, I am a Christian. I have faith on my God. But how about your loyalty? So, tanawa, unbelieving. So in Revelation 21, the other word there is unbelieving. So ato lang taon. Unbelieving is unfaithful, faithless, or unsa pa na, disloyal, untrue. Daghan siya og meaning mga isunan. So unsa man ito makita nini mga emplo? Tanawa, ni adtong ilahang gitambalan nga wa gyud maayo ingon ang Ginoo nga pagka wa gyud pagtuo. O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? Nakikuban ako ninyo pero ngano wa magin mo pagtuo. So ingon ana usay mga igsunan. Bisan kini sila mga disipulo, actually the background of this is he is talking to his disciples, and his disciples Jesus saw them with no faith or faithless. So kuha ang imong una-una kini nga mga pangutana, because sometimes we as Christians, no, in practical way, we have the same mind. Una, gitagad ba kita gitagad ba ako sa Ginoo or gitagad ba kita sa Ginoo? Does God have kana bang sana? Unsay pagtagad kanang, or should I say sympathy? Does God have sympathy on me? No? Kitagad ba ako ani sa Ginoo? Muna yung una, labi nang maabot ang pagsulay, di ba? Makaroon na ta. Sa pagyod. Ikaduha, mubalik ba kahagyod ang Ginoo? Does God really return? Ikaduha mo na huna do. Second thought, which is faithless. Then, the third one, no? Tinuod ba kahagyod ang Ginoo? When you are very down, usahay makaunat na makaigsunan, naabagod ka ang Ginoo? Mauna ang pinaka, or in general, these are the thought which is faithless. No, wa gyud mga pagtuo nga una-una. So ato ni wadon makaigsunan. Ato nang wala sa una-una tungod kay kana siya dili di ay maayo atubangan sa Ginoo. Then unsa pa gyud? Abominable, ayon, murderer. Okay? Actually kini siya common naman sa mga butang. Now, anay taigsuon. Kumusta man ang imong relasyon sa Ginoo? Loyal ka ba sa Ginoo bisan sa mga pagsulay sa imong kinabuhi? Do we still loyal to our God? Even there is a lot of circumstances, no, sa tuang kinabuhi nga bisan mo abot ang kanang balatian sa COVID-19, bisan pa mahupdan kung usahay og mga paninapi sa atong mga panimalay, bisan pa gibulagan ka sa imong minal sa kinabuhi or sa imong bakang uyab, unsa pa gyud, bisan pag nasakitan ka sa kanabang gitawag mo sa sulod sa iglesia, kanabang naa pa gyud sa sulod sa iglesia ang mutisting nimo, di ba? Unsa pa gyud, bisan gamay na lang ang nanimba sa imong iglesia. Do we still loyal to our God? Sometimes ang ato igsuon nga kadasig, no, our courage is only when we see people. There are a lot of people in the church, then we go also in the church, but when the people there is very few, then our courage and faith will also low, no? But when you are loyal to your God, bisan pa igsuon magamay managhan, no? Many or few people in the church, you will still go to the church because your loyalty is not in the people, but your loyalty is in your God. So mao ni mag-igsunan nga ato lang taon igsoon. Dili lamang ang ato igsuon nga pagtuo sa Ginoo, but ang ato pod nga loyalty ato usab ipakita gyud sa Ginoo. Ang paghimo sa tinuyo nga mga pagpakasala kung dili mausab, bisan pa nagsinubra ang imong pagtuo, mao kini ang pagputol sa atong relasyon sa atong Ginoo. No? Even how big is your faith, but when you don't have a loyalty, mawala gyud gihapon. So ang point number 2, ang Dios wala lang magkinahanglan sa atong pagtuo, siya usab naglantaw kung unsa kita kaluyal sa atong Ginoo. Amen. Point number 3, the last. Ang Ginoo adunay kabutangan alang kanatong tanan ug kini nagadepende sa atong mga binuhatan. So your deeds will determine your future pertaining to our salvation. Our deeds. So unsa man ning gi-remind sa Ginoo? Now, I would like to share it with you. Revelation chapter 18 verse 8 is the same mga igsuon nga gihimo or gikot niya ug balik ni John sa chapter 22 verse 15. But there is a slight changes, no? Nigamit sa igsuon. Apostle John used the word dogs there, no? If you try to look in your own Bible, chapter 18 verse 8 and chapter 22 verse 15 is almost the same, but only the difference is gikuha niya ang uban o iyang gipuli, no? Gipuli niya ang dogs, which is nagpasabot siya nga impure mind. So this sexual immorality, kabulon na magsuon nga wa gyud na dito sa langit o di na makadto sa langit. Sorcerer, mga nagtuo ka ng mga magic o gawgahom, di po na moabot sa langit. Idolaters, no? Mga nagtuo sa mga daghang mga Diyos-Diyos. Unya, mga bakakon, wa gina igsuon o di gina makadto sa langit. Now, anita sa pulong iro mga igsuonan. Kay mao man ni ang gidugang diha sa chapter 15, which is the same word igsuon nga gikot ni John or gihimo ni John. Nga kini mga butang iro, lumayan, makilawason, mamumuno, magsimbag mga Diyos-Diyos o nagabatasan sa pagpamakak. Kini tanan nga mga butang mga igsuonan, mauni ang mga tawo nga dili makadto sa langit. Those people who have this characteristic will not go to heaven. So this is a reminder, my dear brethren, so that if kung naani sa ato mga igsoon, ato ginikuhaon tungod kay dili ni mga kaigsuonan makaadto gyud sa langit. So ngano man gibutang ni sa Ginoo ang listahan sa mga dili makasulod sa langit. Number 1, gipahayag sa Dios aron dako ang bentaha sa atong kaluwasan. Why does God put this in the Bible? So that we will have this advantage pertaining to our salvation. That if we will see that this characteristic is in us, then ato na siyang hinahinayon gradually atong iwala magsunan, or pwede po magsuon ato yung walaon diretso. Okay? Ikaduha, dili sa panghinadlok aron kita mosunod sa Dios. Apan aron na kita dili or mulik makalikay ni anang iyahang gitaganang nga balos ngadto sa katapusan. Number 3, kini usa ka pagpahimangno aron mapili kita sa pagbarog alang sa Dios. It is a reminder so that we will stand whatever happen to our life. We will stand. Barog kita makisunan. Okay? And I would like to share this little video mga igsoon as a reminder that we are now living in the end times. You know, we are looking for that what we call the Sunday law. So now, I would like to present to you, my dear brethren, what happened to our days now.
More steps towards the one world religion have just taken place on September 14th and 15th, 2022, with Catholicism and Islam pretty much coming together and say, yeah, we worship the same God and we're brothers and sisters, just different paths to a different God. This is all falling under the umbrella of the uniting of the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, of course, but not the real Christianity. It's Catholicism that's being united under this one world religion. The big event that took place on September 14th and 15th was at the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions, and it concluded on last Thursday. Before I get into that, I'll briefly just touch on and remind people of the Abrahamic family house being built in Abu Dhabi, where it's a religious center for Catholics, Muslims, and Jews to all come together and worship all through the Abrahamic religions there at this one thing. The reason this is important is because 2 Thessalonians 2:4 tells us that the Antichrist will demand the worship of himself and his image from everybody. And anyone who doesn't worship him, these people will die, actually. They will become martyrs, because the only people who won't worship him will be true believers in Jesus Christ, which is not mentioned by Pope Francis at any of these big meetings. So let me read a little bit from this article about it. The world religions leaders today adopted the Human Fraternity document signed by His Eminence, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar and Chairman of the Muslim Council of Elders, Dr. Ahmed Al-Taib, and His Holiness Pope Francis, their name, not mine, of the Catholic Church in Abu Dhabi in 2019. And this came during the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions, which concluded on Thursday. Some highlights from the World Congress of Religions. We note that pluralism in terms of differences in skin color, gender, race, language, and culture are expressions of the wisdom of God in creation. Religious diversity is permitted by God, and therefore any coercion to a particular religion and religious doctrine is unacceptable. So, as you can tell, they're not saying here at these events that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, the Messiah, the only way to heaven, because that would contradict Islam and Judaism. So it's uniting. Everybody's giving up the truth here. They're all just coming together to get along, to give up the truth, which is that salvation is found through Jesus Christ alone. Back to the article, it says, we recognize the importance and value of the document of human fraternity for world peace and living together between the Holy See and Al-Azhar al-Sharif. And then they mention 2 different documents that were resolved and signed into place by the UN General Assembly, as well as the Makkah Declaration adopted in Mecca in 2019. And these call for peace, dialogue, mutual understanding, and mutual respect among believers. So it's really the uniting of all these religions under the fact that we need to coexist together. And yes, of course we need to coexist together. But the problem here is that they're starting to aim it towards we serve the same God. We worship the same God. You know, these Abrahamic religions are just different expressions of God to different people, and that's an absolute lie. The Jewish people are stuck in the old covenant, not accepting the new covenant. Islam is clearly, the Quran was written 600 years after the Bible, and they're clearly ripped off stories. Muhammad ripped off and manipulated to create his own religion in the same region from the same stories. I mean, Muhammad even demanded that the original manuscripts for the Quran be destroyed. Why would he demand that? Because to cover it up, obviously. So the one truth is found within the biblical text alone, within the Old and the New Covenant mixed together, the New Covenant, salvation through Jesus Christ alone. So really it was this document of human fraternity. It was signed by the Pope and this Grand Imam and adopted at the 7th Congress of Leaders of the World and Traditional Religions in Kazakhstan. It's the uniting of the world under a one world religion that the Antichrist will be the head of eventually. A glimpse of the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religion. Here's from Vatican News, and I was reading through this article and noticed something interesting, that Congress, the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religion, came to life in 2003 in the wake of the tragic September 11th attacks of the United States and following Pope John Paul II's second Spirit of Assisi meeting in 2002. So here's just another thing that came out of the September 11th attacks. Pretty interesting to note that. Worth noting about this interfaith meeting is that it took place within a pyramid. Kind of strange that that's their building of choice. Also, Pope Francis said that his goal for this meeting was peace and unity, of course. Very similar to what we know in 1 Thessalonians 5:3, peace and security is what they'll be saying, and then sudden destruction comes on them like labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. And that's the whole point, really, of this whole meeting, really, and this whole uniting of these religions together. Not that we shouldn't get along, and not that we should be out killing each other or something, but the fact that they're trying to unite everybody under peace and security. That's exactly what the Bible says they'll be doing. because it's dropping the truth that Jesus Christ is the way to salvation, which is the true love and peace that people need to come to realize, and just accepting everybody's false doctrines and false teachings for peace and safety, and that will cause sudden destruction. Pope Francis also said at this meeting that the best way to stop religious extremism is not through following the teachings of Jesus Christ, but actually through political democracy. So just enforcing the fact that what the Antichrist will have, which will be the one world government, one world religion. And again, Pope Francis does not mention the truth that salvation is found through Jesus Christ alone, but in fact says this, and this is from Vatican News on the article called Pope in Kazakhstan Religions Key to Building World Peace and Understanding, in reference to this meeting that took place. It says, in his speech to the Congress, the Pope began by addressing everyone as brothers and sisters in the name of the fraternity that unites us as children of the same heaven. He noted that before the mystery of the infinite that transcends and attracts us, the religions remind us that we are creatures, not omnipotent, journeying towards the same heavenly goal. I mean, out of his own mouth. I mean, the fact that people who are Catholics don't see that this guy's pushing for a one world religion is insane. I mean, it's absolutely clear as day that this is what he's pushing for. Saying we're all going to the same heavenly goal. That Muslims who actually have written on the Dome of the Rock building in Jerusalem actually says God has no son. And so they want to unite Catholicism with people who say God has no son, because it's clearly written, clear as day in the Bible, that you have to acknowledge Jesus as the Son of God in order to find salvation through him.
Okay. So, I brought this video, my dear brethren, so that you will know also what happened now in our world today. Okay? Nagkataas ang ato nga pagpaabot sa Ginoo, mga kaigsunan, nagamubuot ang pagbalik sa Ginoo. So, ang ato gipaabot igsuon nga sandilo, gradually happening. So, ang ato gipaabot mga kaigsunan, the closing of provision, okay? The closing of provision, starting of closing of provision is the sandilo. But the closing of provision is when you have the seventh place, is that already the closing of provision. So ayaw pabutan mga kaigsunan nga don't wait nga moabot pa ni, no? That this sandilo will come, then we will change our character. No. We will change it now. While it will not happen in our world today. But again, the one world religion is now starting to nag-anam na siya o kanang nagka-fulfill, no? It's fulfilling. So, nahitabo na September 2022. So, karon makisunan, kini mangbutang gihatag sa Ginoo aron nga dili gyud pa panghinadlok apan aron kita ma-prepare sa tuwa nga pagpaabot. This warning is given to us in order for us to be prepared by the coming of our God, Jesus Christ. Ayaw pagtanaw sa pagpaminsahe o pagpaila ni Kristo sa imong kinabuhi. So, do not fear, no? To share the message and to share Jesus Christ to the people, especially those people who are in need also of salvation. Tagda o ipahibalo ang paghukom sa mga umaabot sa umalabot nga panahon. So ato yung tagaan pagtagan mga igsunan nga naay there will be judgment that will come. And katapusan kinahanglan nga ang atong pagkaputli samtang kita nagalagad sa Ginoo. So we will purify ourselves while we are waiting for our God second coming. So how to purify? Let us always look unto Jesus and ask forgiveness if we commit sin, and always rely on God's strength, not on our strength. So ayaw pagtuguti nga ang atong mga pagbati o bati nga binuhatan o kinaiya maoy muhatod nato ngadto sa linaw nga kalayo sa nagdilaab nga impierno. So do not allow that our weaknesses, our wrongdoings will lead us to the hell. So atong himuon mga igsunan, mao ang pagtutok ngadto sa Ginoo, ug atong wan-on mga igsuon ang tawhanon nga kinaiya, ug atong sunubon kanunay ang kinaiya ni Ginoong Jesucristo, kay sa pinaagi igsuon sa atong pagpractice lamang sa kinaiya ni Jesus Christ, ato siya nga ma-introduce ngadto sa uban nga gusto pud makaila kan Jesus Christ.